Hello everyone and welcome to Lord Asterion. My name is Philippos and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be painting some really old school retro Death Guard. I picked up these models from a local game shop and yeah, they're pretty rusty. They're missing a few arms, they're missing a few things, but that's okay. Let's fix them up and see what happens. Now, I picked up a few spare parts from the early to mid-2000s Chaos Space Marine pack that my friend Marco kindly gave me, so shout out to Marco. Thank you very much. For the next step, we're going to be adding some arms, shoulder pads, jetpacks, with some super glue on the models, so just be very gentle here and have some fun. Then we're going to be doing a little bit more cleanup, and sometimes things don't always go oops as planned. That's alright, here we are, we've got all of our dudes. I'm Greek, so we're going to give them some Greek names, hope that's alright. On the left I introduce you to Nikos, in the middle we've got Costa, and on the right we've got Yannis. So we're going to start with a bit of work on Nikos. What I've done is I've primed the model with Corax White, and then we're going in with some very nicely thinned up Death Guard Green. If I'm being honest, I wasn't too happy with the application of this. I think I watered the color down too much and it just started being a bit funky, and I had to do about 3 applications and it still wasn't right. Looking back, I should have just sprayed the model with Death Guard Green spray, but I had run out. Next up, we're moving to Costa. He's been sprayed with Corax White and we're going to do a bit of a dry brush. We're going to dry brush him just to get those highlights popping a little bit more. We're going to start with a light dry brush of Wraithbone all over the model, followed by another dry brush of White Scar, or Corax White if you like. This is just to bring those highlights up a little bit more, because for the next step we're going to be using a contrast paint. One of my favorites, Skeleton Horde. And we're going to go crazy on this. Just rub it all over the model, nice and gently. Make sure it doesn't pull in the recesses too much, because once it dries that starts looking a little bit funny. But have some fun. Go crazy. And third up, we're moving on to Yannis. Yannis has been sprayed with Chaos Black Spray, and we're going to go with some Typhus Corrosion all over the model, straight from the pot. This is to make the armor panels be a bit more rusty later on, and you'll see why in just a second. Once again, go quite liberal with this. Pick up all those beautiful armor panels, the shoulder pads, the weapons, whatever you want. Make them all grimy and gross, because let's be honest, these Nurgle guys are quite dirty. And here we are, we've got all 3 of our models base coated and ready to go, and apologies for the blurriness. Camera wasn't working right. Next up, this is the fun part, we're going to do all the armor trimming for all the models, and we're going to base that with a bit of Balthazar gold, so be very careful in this step. Just to pick up those details, I'm using a basic brush, but a detailed brush would actually do the trick. Just applying the paint nice and smoothly, and as Duncan Rhodes would say, 2 thin coats should suffice. And don't forget to have fun. We're slowly picking up a few more of the details, like the armor trim and the little skull that we see here on Nikos. Yeah, nice. Next up, we're going to be moving on to the silver. Now, for the silver, I've chosen to go with lead belcher. We're going to cover quite a few of the other surfaces, including the weapon, some of the little pipes that you see popping out through his armor, and of course the spike at the top. And go ahead and do that on all the models. Yannis is a little bit different than his brothers. He's actually going to be dry brushed with lead belcher instead. Now this is to make all of those nice details we established with the Typhus Corrosion pop a bit more. Black and silver is always a good combo, and I have no complaints. So yeah, just be quite liberal and dry brush the entire model, including the weapons and armor. Then we're going to go back to Yannis once again and do the armor trimming in Balthazar Gold. Next up, we're going to be moving into my favorite part, which is covering the models with AK Interactive Streaking Grime, everyone's favorite Grimdark color of choice. Just cover the entire models and wait for about half an hour to an hour for the paint to set. For the next step, we're going to be using some spirits. I've used a little makeup brush, and slowly I'm dabbing the model, as you can see, just to get all of that streaking grime to stay into the recesses, while all the original colors we had established on the panels would pop a lot more. It's a really fun process and possibly one of my favorite things to do when painting miniatures. It's great fun. And after that step, all 3 of our models should be finished. However, I wasn't exactly happy with the result on Yanis. I wanted him to pop a little bit more. So this is where I came in with a bit of Nylax oxide, I hope I said that right, and I placed it into some of the recesses near his chest, and as you can see, that nice blue will give the armor that rusty, corroded feeling. And without further ado, let's do a little reveal, shall we? Here we are. All 3 of our boys are painted and ready to be displayed or brought onto the battlefield. If you like what you saw today, please consider liking, subscribing and sharing the video. And of course, let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to see something new come up in the near future. I've got a few ideas up my sleeve, but it would be nice to see what you all think. Once again, thank you all so much for watching and see you in the next one. Have fun painting.